is this fine? Yep, okay, there we go. So let me just mute up for a sec so it doesn't sound really horrible while I mix my sugar in. Okay, let's see, I think that was fine. Let me... Yeah, seems good enough. Okay, so second day in a row. I'm actually surprised I did this. I usually quit after a day of trying to read visual novels on stream. This is the first time I've done that. Like, I actually continue it. I guess I kinda did with Tsukihime, but I quit almost right after. But with this, I will continue. Hopefully. If I don't lose my voice doing this. Okay. Everything's working. OBS is... OBS is actually... No, never mind. There we go. It's up at 30%. I don't know why it's now... It's like 30 is the new thing for it. It didn't used to be this high. I don't think there's anything else I need to mess with. Oh yeah, also for the Faded Platinum thing I was doing. The one where I just go through all Platinum games. Not gonna do it the way I wanted to, mostly because money. Buying the games that are not readily like available is gonna cost me like 200 USD, and I'm not about to do that just for the shitty list. So I'm gonna be playing Babylon's Fall before it gets shut down at the start of February, and then I'll go back and play the other games. That's why I'm not playing Okami right now. I'll come back to it later. But yeah, that list is on hiatus for now, for like a month. Yeah, I'm basically gonna be reading this and going back to my Square list since I really wanna get into like the PS1 era of that. That'd be sick. Okay. Let me pause this and change of mood now. I forget, how was I reading this before? Wait. I think I was reading it like this. Yeah. Okay. Okay, there we go. Oh, what is in config actually? Auto adjust music? What does this mean? She's wearing. Oh, yeah, please, thank you. Uh-huh. Wow. What does this mean? Oh, does it just mute them? Like, no, don't let these characters talk. I don't like their voice actors. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Oh, blue. Can I change? How do I change the color? I don't know, yeah. Because if possible, I wanted to make it yellow. Oh, there are decisions in this? I thought there wasn't. Like, what is the next one? Actually, let me check. Yeah. Oh, hi. They think I can't capture this. Get fucked. And let's continue. Little happenings of last night. Next episode? Yeah? Yeah. Apparently this game is only like, 18 hours if you read it like a normal person. Meaning it should take me like 20 plus. Sojiro sighed listlessly. I forget to do my exercises. He looked down at the winter schoolyard below, lost in thought. December was written at the corner of the chalkboard. He could not believe 10 days had already passed since he transferred to school. The last vestiges of autumn had faded with the change of the month. The trees were all but barren, and the ground below them a mat of fallen leaves. Fourth period was classics. An elderly teacher stood at the lectern and rambled on. I'm gonna guess that's a stand where the teacher stands? While he had finally gotten used to the classroom, he still had a long way to go to get up to speed in his classes. Like in even the basics understanding most students learn in their early scholastic life, it was a battle for Sojiro to keep up. Even when he was unable. So yeah, is it skipping? I think my audio is skipping, but yeah, hello. Even if he wasn't able to grasp all of the content right away, he at least tried to memorize everything in the hope that he could make use of it down the road. Which is why losing himself in his thought was about the last thing he should have done. he should have been doing. He would not chastise himself for daydreaming, but okay, the audio cutting is distracting me. Troublingly, he was unable to concentrate in class today. Soldier could not place the source of his lack of concentration. It could not have been the winter in the city. It was much milder than in the mountains. Neither was his part-time job particularly tiring. He was not any more physically fatigued than the average student, so that could not be it either. Others might conclude that it was because of the courses were boring, but that seemed out the mark too. Soldier did not share his classmates' opinions about their classes. On the contrary, he rather enjoyed his class time. Now, his frame of mind was not to blame either. Trying to figure out what was wrong only made him more depressed. He scolded himself and turned his attention to the chalkboard. Arithmetic ticks of the chalk were sending him to a slumber, but he somehow managed to resist their lullaby. And yet, he was unable to focus on the class. Soldier reflected silently as was his custom, and sighed inwardly. Deep down, he knew the real source of his agitations. Also, I'm noticing how much wet sounds there are, and I hate it. Wait a second. The events of the previous night were the only thing it could be. What? With the chime to signal the end of class, the teacher bowed and exited into the hallway. To see him off, the 30 or so students all stood up from their desks. The clock, which had seemed to slow dramatically around 11:30, now struck noon. The tension seemed to fade from the room all at once. The release from a difficult lesson. Was the start of lunchtime the highlight of school life? Misaki High's cafeteria was not particularly known for its quality food. Complaints that the quality was below that of a private school when unheated. And the same unique flavors appeared on the menu each and every day. Private school prices coupled with subpar quality led the majority of the students to opt for box lunches instead. Soldier's class 2C was no exception. The boys muscled as many as 10 desks into what resembled a long dining room table. Conversely, the girls divided themselves into small tables of 2 or 3 with practice ease and started chatting within their cliques. Not a single student wasted even a second of their precious lunchtime. Where both sides differed in method, they shared a common goal. Soldier was struck dumb by the efficiency of the transformation. Even after 10 days, he was unable to keep pace with the rest of the class and remained seated where he had sat during the previous period. The voice came from the large makeshift dining table near the window. Hosuke Kinomi was beckoning him over while leaning back in his chair in a way that looked like he could fall backwards at any second. He was regularly shot down by others in the class for being lazy and crass, but his earnest nature kept him from getting in anyone's bad side. Though something could be said for not being so forthcoming all the time too. Okay, so is he the Ichigo character from Tsukihime but with long hair?
俺さ、昨日店の残り物もらいすぎたんだよ。春巻きだよ、春巻き。それを見た親父がさ、もらったもんは残すなってうるさくてさ。食いもん。
God damn it. It seemed his endgame was to find someone who might take pity on him and trade him for something better. The two of them worked at the same restaurant, so he was one of the few people Soldier knew before starting school. It was also the reason Soldier was able to learn the true meaning of the phrase, can't live with them, can't live without them.
お、いいな。しずきも来いよ。 今日は待ちに待った缶詰祭りをすっからさ。ついに決行するのかよ。誰か冷静になった方がいいんじゃないのか実際。バカ、すげえ楽しいってきっと。そりゃパチモン臭いけどカニ缶とか食い放題なんだぜ。サバ缶じゃなくて。
Oh, canned crab sounds so bad. I'm just imagining the taste and that's so disgusting.
マジやったー、俺も参加する。コンビーフは一人一個、それとも早い者勝ち？
お前な、一人で何個も食えるもんじゃねえぞあれ。うまいのは最初の1個だけだって。しずきたちが来るならノルマは1人7個に下がるのか。助かるな。
ところで木の実の弁当の中身、なんか缶詰より硬そうじゃね？
As no one questions his bandages. The boys usually pass the time by making fun of each other's lunches, but today they were united against a common foe. A pyramid of countless cans stood at the middle of the table. They had all been taken from a pantry of a certain student's house, and the expiration dates on them had been all scribbled out with a marker.
よし、やろうども。各自毎缶切りの用意はいいな。食べるも地獄、残すも地獄。我ら5次元目の授業はないものと恐れぬ修羅となり、鉄の悪魔どもを平らげん。
You know, I felt this. I remember like going to the cafeteria, and like especially like he's like in my school, like you could like work during like free time, and you'd get like $2 like for that period. And we knew someone who used to work at the cafeteria in like middle school. And we just used to go to him and be like, hey, here's some extra money, like, give us this, this, and this, and this. And you basically, you could say we kind of stole from the school, but we still paid for them. It's just the guy that was working for them also took a little bit extra money from it.
食材は下町の何でも紹介、マーケット中山からの提供です。
ヒュー、バカも休み休み、イエーイ。
The boys united as one and hoisted their can openers into the air.
ほら、しずきも食べようぜ。缶切りならまだあるからさ。いや、君らの弁当の毒味はごめんだって昨日言ったはずだ。それに、その缶詰半分以上賞味期限切れてるだろう。なんだよ、釣れねえな。
What an inexplicably excited group of guys. Their real motivation seemed to be to spread the pain. But moved by their energy and conceding defeat, Soji got up from his seat and joined them. And before he could...
私たちが釣り上げようかな。しずきくん、あんなの放っておいて一緒にどう？
Another interested body joined the fray. A girl with short but stylish hair had called out to him. She had also tried to get Soji to join the track and field club several days earlier.
いや、そっちも遠慮したいな。できれば。
He answered with a troubled look on his face. On their table was nothing but a pile of fruits Soji had never seen before.
なんで？パパイヤとか嫌い？マンゴーもあるし、ヤシの実だってあるし、内緒だけど、夕張メロンもあるんだから。
Mangoes in school sound fucking horrible. I was like, they have to be cubed, right? Because imagine trying to cut like a mango anywhere that is not a kitchen. That is actually the worst thing ever. The member of the fruit group pumped their fist in unison at that last delicacy.
待て、なんだヤシの実って、あれ食えるもんなの？あ、マンゴー余ったら回してほしいな。
バカ、肉食え肉。そんなんだから貧弱な体してんだぞ、お前ら。
Soji gonna keep track of all the voices flying across the room.
わかるのは、どっちも破滅的だってことだけだ。
Why? The fruit one sounds good. That being said, he found it difficult to refuse them outright. His tendency to accept others' goodwill at face value occasionally left him frozen with indecision. Not accustomed to the regular human interaction, he was unable to judge whether it was or was not appropriate to turn someone down. Someone tapped the lost little lamp on the shoulder.
ほっとけほっとけ。いちいちここのバカどもに付き合ってちゃ人生台無しだ。適当に流しとけばいいんだよ。ほら、お前らもな、善良な羊を悪の園に引きずり込んでんじゃねえよ。
An inappropriately loud voice echoed through the classroom from behind him.
副会長
That design is so normal. I was like, but that hair though. I was like, that design is not from this game. But that hair, I feel like give him a bodysuit and yeah, he'd fit. Sawyer turned around to see a boy about a head taller than him. His long hair, while unkempt, had been brushed back, giving it an appealingly windswept look. His attractive features. Wait a sec. Goddamn fake sneezes. His attractive features belied the contempt for the classroom his eyes carried. Unlike the perpetually dopey-looking soldier, he was an extremely attractive boy capable of captivating anyone who so much as glanced at him. In most cases, such a boy's presence would be met with honor and respect. However,
なんだよ副会長様のお出ましかよ。てめえらのバカ顔にはコリゴリだって学食に陣取ってたんじゃなかったのかよ。
へへへ。ここは見ての通り、ボンクラどもが集う貧民街でございますよ。王子はほら、A組の綺麗どころとカフェでお茶でもしてればいいじゃない。
またしずき呼びに来たのかよ。青子女子といい、飛び丸殿下といい、しずきなんかヤバいことしちゃったのか。
しずきくんは校則違反しないじゃん。ちょっとそれ以外のルール破るだけで。ってことはやっぱり築地くん、青崎に振られてからそっちに走ったって本当だったのね。
they continued to give him a hard time. Sawyer could not help but feel sorry for him. The class vice president, on the other hand, showed absolutely no reaction whatsoever. He glared at them with a bored look and simply raised his voice.
相変わらず無駄に元気があって結構じゃねえかてめえら。そんなに活力たぎってんなら冬季特別清掃班にだって参加できるよな。おい、今んところ自主的に申し出てるのは全校で一人しかいねえんだ。西井全員が参加すりゃ俺も青崎も肩の荷が下りるってもんなんだがよ。
The menacing growl on his voice contrasted greatly with the boys' well-constructed looks. But Team Cat and Team Fruits were doused like a fire being smothered. This was partly due to their fear of the boy, but mostly due to their fear of the special winter cleaning team. Yes, the special winter cleaning team. Joining meant spending part of your winter break cleaning up the old school building and mountainous rear courtyard that had been neglected by the previous two student councils. It was a form of legalized torture that could potentially ruin 3 whole days of your winter break. I forgot about any compensation in any form of extra credits. No, it was pointless volunteer work for a student council project. It was particularly a miracle that they had found even a single volunteer.
いや僕らちょっと体弱いんでスミッチョで缶詰食べてますね。
私たちも貧血気味でこうやって果物食べてないと死んじゃうっていうか、冬休みはもう予定いっぱいっていうか。
All of the students but one scuffled away.
よし、昼食はやっぱり静かにやらねえとな。1年坊主の教室より2年の教室の方がやかましいなんて苦情、いい加減にしやがれよ、アホども。
The mob meekly scurried away. Soldier turned to join them, but as he did,
お 前はこっちだ宗次郎。
The hand on his shoulder held him in
だよ
place.
生徒会応募。人んちのテーブルマナーまで指図してほしくねえよな。
Kinami cursed under his breath to his friends. The second vice president turned to go.
はあ、上等じゃねえか木の実。いいぜ、お前が記念すべき2人目だ。冬休み首を洗って待ってやがれ。
The vice president must have heard everything Kinami said because he gave a thumbs up before figuratively jabbing it into his eyes.
はあ、何言ってんですかあいつ。あれ自主的なイベントじゃん。いくら副会長だって強制はできないですよね。
The problem child of Class C laughed merrily.
そりゃ昨日までの話だ。会長の提案が学校側に受理されてな。本日付で生徒会役員は強制力のある推薦権をもらえたんだよ。特に会長と副会長の推薦は絶対だ。拒否した場合、学校側はともかく青崎が何するか俺には止められねえから、そのつもりでな。
げえ、それ事実上の死刑宣告じゃ。生徒会マジ応募。
Konami's terrified shrieking continued behind them as the vice president soldier left the classroom.
お前も大変だな、宗十郎。
あんたも割と暇なんだな、副会長。
Oh, I really like the look of this room. The two entered the empty student council room. Misaki's high student council had the use of two rooms. One was a large office specifically made for the student council. The second was an archive room once used as a preparatory office for math courses. As the latter of the two, the walls were lined with densely packed shelves, making an already cramped room seem even more confined. For this reason, it served more as a private refuge to the student council. The two students sat across from one another. Tobimaru Tsukiji. He was the son of the chairman of Misaki High School and the vice president of its school council. Like Soldier, who was in his second year and had first met the transfer student a week earlier when the task of looking after him was dumped onto the onto the student council.
副会長はやめろって。クソったれな話だが、俺は所詮会長の犬だからな。
Wait, let me. Just forgot I wanted to charge my phone as I do this. There we go. As self-deprecating as his words were, he hardly seemed dissatisfied with the arrangement. He took a snack from his pocket and grimaced at it before taking a bite. He has a cookie pocket? He just has snacks in his pocket? The 100-calorie energy bar sacrificed flavor for efficacy, but somehow not enough to prevent him gnawing on it like a piece of jerky.
そうか。でも犬は良くないな、飛び丸。
Soldier sat in the chair with a concerned look on his face.
犬がどうしたって？
犬は良くないって言った。例えが違う気がするし、何より怖いぞ、あれ。
なんだよ。山奥育ちのくせに犬が怖いのか？
そりゃ大抵の生き物は怖いけど、犬は別格だ。
I wonder why. Is it because he's the cat?
徒党を組んだ野犬ほど始末に追えないものはない。足の速さも脅威だけど、 何より執念深すぎる。坂だろうと追いかけてくるし、最後の一匹になるまで引かないんだぞ。
Soldier opened his lunch as he spoke. Inside the bright green cloth, 3 beautifully made triangle rice balls.
ショックだ。
ショックって何が？
いや、そんなこの世のものとは思えない握り飯を見たのは初めてだ。
それどっちなんだ？
褒めてるんだよ、バカ。
Why am I so tired today? Soldier was always confounded by a phrasing that could be interpreted in multiple ways. Even a simple sarcasm were often lost on him. It was only on rare occasions like this one that he chose to confirm what was being said. Tobimaru had to come to suspect that Soldier had a very black and white way of seeing things.
ところで、その固まった小麦粉みたいなの、美味しいのか
？Soldier stared at the energy ball with a curious look on his face.
まずくはねえが、うまくもねえよ。人間、何事も手間暇惜しむようになっちゃおしまいだぜ。
Tobimaru quickly finished off his bar, put another one on the table, and grabbed one of Soldier's rice balls. Soldier failed to notice the rudeness of forced exchange and gave the preferred energy ball a try.
なんだか土を食べてるみたいだ。
Is this a nature grain bar?
違いない。遊びをなくせば人生こんなもんだって見本だな。
Out of principle, Soldier labored over his energy bar, cringing all the while. While he was both curious of the unknown and loath to leave something unfinished.
今無理に平らげる必要はねえぞ。そいつの利点は携帯食ってところだからな。素で味気ないが、食えるうちは味が落ちないのがいいところだ。まあ、そっちはともかく。どうだ、少しは慣れたか？
ああ、飛丸や青崎が気を使ってくれているからね。
Tobimaru turned his eyes up to the ceiling, unable to handle Soldier's carefree smile. As absent-minded as Soldier might have been, his expressions were nonetheless incredibly earnest. It was like poison to someone as self-absorbed as Tobimaru.
だから青崎は来ねえんだよな。
He took a bite from the rice bowl to steer himself away from such thoughts. Though now cold, the rice had managed to maintain its freshness, startling Tobimaru.
ん？いや待て。気を使ってんのは俺だけじゃねえか。青崎なんてお前が転入した日に彼迷惑だから見張ってての一言だけだぞ。
なんでそこで君が怒るんだ？
いや、だからだな。お前が学校になれるよう陰ながら見守ってんのは俺で、青崎は生徒会室で全校生徒の弱みを集めてるだけって話だ。
Tobimaru stopped himself, realizing how ridiculous he sounded. Soldier, rightly so, knew it was nothing to get thus upset over.
いいさ。青崎に言いつけられなきゃ
I love
こうなることもなかったしな。
Soldier's entire mood is just him being like, hey, chill out. Why are you so mad right now? I need Type Moon to do a skit where Soldier takes an edible. The entire joke is that nothing changed.
どうして俺にこんな役させたと思う？
副会長だからだろ。
Tobimaru's handsome face went dark.
あんな、どうして副会長が転入生一人にかかりっきりにならなくちゃいけねえんだよ。いいぜ。機会があったら青崎本人に聞いてみな。あいつ。
Yep. He snatched another bite of the rice ball while grumbling under his breath. There it was again. rice grains that were just dry enough to be fresh and tender in the mouth. A morsel that betrayed its humble description, which must have been delicately molded by a master chef rather than haphazardly clumped into a bowl.
そして何よりこの塩加減、中の具から染み出した玄妙な醤油加減はどうだ。食欲をそそるどころか、脳を食欲だけにするような。おお。
飛び丸、思ってることが口に出てるみたいだけど。
いや、それほどのショックだったってわけだ。なあ、その字。これ具は何だ。
It was only natural to inquire about the unexpectedly delicious bite. He had been nibbling around the edges and had not yet reached its center.
ああ、それはイナゴ。
ありえねえ。
The vice baron choked on his cough. Yeah, see, some lines are weird. Like, the vice president choked on his cough. He had assumed that soldier would prefer earthy ingredients instead of seafood on account of his mountain life, but he never expected he would use grasshoppers.
くそ、食う前に言えよな。信じられねえぐらいうまいと思っちまったじゃねえか。
ああ、今のは嘘だよ。
They looked eyes for a moment.
本当は鮭。いくらなんでもイナゴはね。
おお、そうだよな。
Grasshoppers not that bad.
安心した。いくらなんで
It
も
literally tastes like nothing. It tastes like what you put on it, which is usually salt.
ああ、こんな都会で身の締まったイナゴが手に入るもんか。
As curious as those words were, Tobimaru decided to let them go.
たく、どっちにしても冗談きついぜ。危うく吐き出すところだったじゃねえか。
君が青崎の悪口を言うからだ。
Oh. That's a great sprite. Soji closed his eyes as he continued to chew on his rice ball. Tobimaru watched incredulously as Sojimaru made no attempt to hide his disapproval.
おい、今のはさすがに聞き捨てならねえぞ。俺が青崎の悪口を言ったから意種返しをしたと、そういうことか。
Soji continued chewing. The country boy's lounge protest said all that needed to be said. The vice baron suddenly looked like he had been struck by lightning.
なんてこった。お前、まさか青崎に惚れてんのか。そうなのか。そうなんだな。おい、眠ってねえで起きろ。
Tobimaru flew out of his chair and violently shook Soji by the shoulders. Soji opened his eyes.
そうか。お前は1年前の惨劇を知らないんだな。知ってりゃ、そんなストレートな破滅願望を持つこともなかったろうに。
君の言葉には誤解が含まれてるけど、それは後にする。それより。
Tobimaru regained his composure and sat down after a moment's thought.
仕方ねえ。この手の噂をするのは好きじゃねえんだけどな。
Tobimaru assured himself that it was in Sojo's best interest as a young man to know.
あれは青崎がまだ1年の頃の話だ。あの頃はみんな入学したばっかりで、青崎がどんな性格か誰も知らなかった。あいつ、外見は文句なしに美人だからな。そりゃ男どもは狂気乱舞したもんさ。
Little did they know that soon after they would go crazy for an entirely different reason.
4月5月はもう上を下への大騒ぎだよ。あの時ばかりは上級生も下級生もなかったな。野郎同士の牽制、共闘、果ては決闘まで。まあよくも騒いだもんさ。青崎に近寄るだけでも大変だったんだぜ。
なんでそんなよくわからない事態になるんだ？
そりゃ青崎は一人きり、命知らずな野郎は延べ100人ほどいたからだよ。一人一人青崎とランチしても3ヶ月かかるだろ。だからまずは男同士でつまんねえ暗闘があったのさ。まあいい。わからねえならそこは飛ばそう。所詮負け犬どもの話だしな。本筋にはなりえねえ。でな、そんなどうでもいい戦いを勝ち残った奴らは列なしで1年の女に言い寄ったわけだ。青崎はあれで、なんていうか、相手のなけなしの誠意じゃなくてあれか、勇気、そういうのを無視できずに認めちまうやつだからな。言い寄ってくる相手を可能な限り丁寧に断ってた。が、中にはそれで勘違いしちまうやつもいてよ。3年のある野郎がこれは脈ありと見て青崎に何度も言い寄ったんだよ。多分そいつ頭がおかしかったんだ。今にして思うとそうとしか思えん。
Incidentally, Tobimaro decided to gloss over the fact that this student was also the former student council president.
学園ばかりか。
Oh,
青崎の家まで押しかけたそうでな。あまりにしつこいんで、
Well,
青
that's
崎
not
も堪
creepy.
忍袋の尾が切れたんだろう。ちょっと口にするのははばかられる方法で振ったんだよ。結果そいつは自分から他校に転入希望したばかりか、三崎町からも逃げ出しちまって、青崎も1ヶ月ばかり自宅謹慎を食らった。世に言う血の公会堂事件だ。詳しく知りたけりゃ本人はまずいな。新聞部にでも行け。あそこの部長は命知らずだから、聞けば面白がって教えてくれる。
飛び丸、その具体的な表現を恋に避けてないか？
仕方ねえだろ。理事長の息子だろうがなんだろうが、怖いものは怖えし、高校ぐらいは無事卒業しとかねえとな。うちの女子の制服見るたびに規制を上げるトラウマなんて持ちたくねえよ。
That's not. That's. It's like, yeah, people were being creeps. Yeah. Of course she. Of course she'd do that. So he tilted his head to the side of confusion. Tomura had lost him with that comment.
ああ、いい。それより、なんで青崎なんかがいいんだよ、掃除。
He tilted his head again, this time on to the other side.
おい、お前、本当に青崎が好きなのか？単に胸がドキドキ言ってるだけなら、それは恋じゃなくて恐怖だってオチもあるぜ。
He tilted his head even further. What Tomura was saying sounded off, but Soji decided not to press the matter. All the more because he found many of his own emotions towards Aoko Ozaki to be incomprehensible.
そうだな、おかしい。俺はあまり彼女を知らないのにね。
That was because they had not truly spoken to each other since that day she showed him around. Each time Soldier tried to talk to her, she immediately got up and left. As fate would have it, they ended up working together that recent Sunday, and made only idle chatter on the way back. On the way and
け
back.
ど飛び丸、君は知らないだけなんだ。時々なんだが、誰かの視線を感じて振り返ってみると、いつ失敗するかを心配して見ている人がいる。飛び丸の言う通り、ただ廊下で俺を見かけて、単に監視していただけなのかもしれない。本当は俺のことなんて気にせず素通りしたいのかもしれない。けど、どんな種類であれ、彼女の心配は本物だ。それに、ここが一番大事だと思うんだけど、実際の話、青崎のそういうところのおかげで、俺は助かっていたりするんだ。
His tone was measured and sincere. Tomura sighed with a tinge of regret. If not for those words, he could have introduced Sojo to be more of a suitable girl with whom he could have lived out with the rest of his school. Days of peace. He never went to such length for his other friends. I need to stop reading, try to stop reading so fast because I keep skipping over words. Generally speaking, it was somewhat. If it was of some benefit to him, he was unafraid of exploiting another. If they were of no use, he didn't bother getting involved with them. That was how Tobimaru Tsuchiki operated. Sojo happened to be the type of person who provided no benefit to Tobimaru, yet somehow sparked in him a desire to help. It was not that friendship was completely alien to him. He just did not have many people he felt that close to. So if Sojo had fallen for Aoko, it was not his place as a friend to try and change his mind.
やれやれ。結局、惚れてるやつには理由なんていらねえんだな。
そんなことはない。理由なら一つある。彼女を一目見たときに綺麗だなって思ったぞ。
ん？
Tobimaru's shoulder slumped.
なんだ？あんだけ恥ずかしいセリフ言っといて、要は外見に惚れてますな。
I wanna
結局見
try.
てくれかよ、宗次郎。
I wanna try and get, like, to try and stream this while standing. I wanna see if I can see, like, make a good setup for that. Does that be good?
綺麗なものに見とれるのはいいことじゃないのか？自分を綺麗に見せる努力をしているんだから、外見から内面を判断するのはそんなおかしな話じゃないと思う。
That sounded like selfism to Tobimaru, but he had no counterpoint to offer.
しょうがねえ。わかったよ。この話はもうやめよう。その字が誰をてめえの女にするか、俺の知ったことじゃねえし。
No. But the one major thing that Tobimaru had been mistaken about this whole conversation. Namely that Sojo was not head over heels in love with Aoko, and hoped to go steady with her. He merely liked her as a person. Nobody could have foreseen the massive calamity that would be caused by this simple misunderstanding.
だがよ、一つだけ忠告しておくぜ、宗次郎。青崎は喧嘩をした相手だろうと別に嫌うわけじゃない。逆に言えば親切にしたって別に好かれるわけでもない。いい例が俺だ。
He spoke with a pained sigh as if opening old wounds from the past.
そうか。詳しく。
おう、昔な、あいつがあんまりに独善的だったんで、つい手を挙げかけちまったことがある。半年前の夏だ。1年もあいつと生徒会やってたもんだから、俺も女っつうより戦友って気になっててな。つい勢いで平手打ちをしようと右手を上げた。だから4番バッターも角やという腰のひねり。確かな実感とともに俺は勝利を確信したもんさ。
What a great introduction. So yeah, I saw this girl and I got angry, so I fucking threw a right hook at her. He had a distant look in his eyes as his words trailed off.
翌日になって、こりゃ完全に敵扱いされたなと覚悟して生徒会室に行ってみりゃ、青崎はいつも通りだった。で、以来あいつと俺は会長と副会長で収まってる。
Sojo sighed at the story. He then said with absolute confidence.
今の話を総合すると、君は単に届けたいのか？
Clearly had missed the point entirely.
なわけあるか！今の話のどこに甘酸っぱい要素があんだよ。俺としちゃあいつを女として見なくなった決定的な事件だったんだがね。
なんだ、違うのか？
Look of disappointment fluttered across Sojo's face. Tobimaru revised his opinion of him. Sojo was something of a simpleton, but there was something more about him that Tobimaru could not quite place.
とにかくだ。 俺が言いたいのは青崎青子の好き嫌いの基準ってのは普通じゃないってことだ。いいことをすれば好かれる、気に入らないことをすれば嫌われるってわけじゃねえんだよ。
Soldier answered that he would keep it in mind as he looked to the clock. They had been talking for a while and lunch was almost
もう
over.
君からの話はないか？
あ、初めからねえよ、そんなの。
ん？
Why had Tomura even brought him here in the first place? Soldier tilted his head and wondered, but shook it off to deal with the more pressing matter at hand.
よし。じゃあもう少し付き合ってくれ。飛び丸に聞きたいことがあったんだ。
Tobimaro sat straight up. He had never seen Soldier's face look so serious before. Soldier set aside his rice bowl and cleared his throat.
実は昨日、こんなことがあって。
He spoke solemnly, and as carefully as possible, he recounted what had occurred the night before.
しずきくんいる？
'Twas 10 to 12 and lunchtime was quickly coming to an end. Her face popped into Class C as lively as ever, as if it were an everyday occurrence. Aoka Aozaki announced her presence. While Aoka wasn't part of Class C, she didn't let it bother her as she casually entered the classroom. In contrast, the baby birds who had been so noisily chirping while eating lunch quickly quieted and began to rearrange their seats.
どういう意味よそれ。
She bristled internally before looking around the room. She could not see the male student she had come to find. He hardly stood out, so she thought he might be hidden in a corner somewhere, but that appeared to not be the case.
有里くん、出席番号12番のしずきくんは？
Aoka kept her tone professional.
俺？しずきならさっき飛び丸殿下が連れて行ったよ。
The boy was shocked that she actually knew his name. One might think that the reason students referred to Tobimaro Tsuchiki by a royal title was because he was the chairman's son, but it was because he actually acted like royalty. In fact, the vice president was said to have taken a liking to the title.
飛び丸が？あいつしずきくんと仲いいの？
She seemed surprised. The class seemed surprised at her
いいも
surprise.
悪いも、築地くんが男子と仲良く話してるのって今まで見たことなかったよ、私たち。あ、木の実くんはバカだから別だけど。
そうだよな。初めは殿下もあんまり話してなかったけど、3日もしたら楽しそうに口喧嘩してたもんな。
ま、しずき相手に突っ張っても仕方ないじゃん。あいつ変だけどいいやつだし。
そうよね。いい人だもんね、宗十郎くん。
Having recomposed themselves, Class C started chatting again. Aoka listened for a bit before turning around and leaving the class with the later. All the soldier talk finished as quickly as it had started. Lunchtime was coming to a close in the student council room. Soldier, having told his story, was smiling in satisfaction. Tobimaro, sitting across from him, was frowning.
さあ、感想を聞かせてくれ。
Soldier told his yarn as best as he could. Tobimaro fingered his brow as if he was angry or concerned.
なあ、そうのじ。お前、人をバカにできるほど器用なやつじゃねえよな。
失礼な。器用な方だぞ、俺は。
His response only confirmed Tobimaro's suspicions. It had been one of the two possible conclusions. What Soldier had just told him was true, or that Soldier was so tired that he must have been hallucinating at that time. Tobimaro sincerely hoped it was the latter.
宗十郎、率直に言って、俺はお前が気に入っている。嘘のない人間なんてのは人間じゃねえ。俺は人間嫌いだから、そんなお前さんが気に入ってたりするんだが、そんな奴まで馬鹿げたことを言い出したら、俺は明日から何を頼りに昼飯を食えばいいんだ？
学食で食べればいいんじゃないか？
Hearing his suggestion, Tobimaru's face darkened.
わかった。はっきり言おう。それは幻覚だ。幽霊の正体見たり枯れ尾花ってやつだろうさ。
それが君の感想か。ならいいんだ。
As bitter as Tobimaru's words might have sounded to most, Soldier swallowed them whole.
そりゃ俺だって神隠しの類だと思ったよ。けど都会じゃもしかしてそれもありなのかもしれないだろ。確かめたかったのはそこなんだ。
Satisfied, Soldier finished off his last rice bowl and neatly folded the cloth.
おい、すると何か？お前は都会の人間は口から火を吹いたり腕が伸びたりするのが普通だと思ったのか？
I wonder what that reference is.
まあ普通じゃないけど特別でもないんじゃないかと思ったんだ。ここは山にないものが溢れている何でもありの場所だ。だからそれぐらいやってのける人だってもしかしているのかなと。
That his face was as serious as it was made, Tobimaru realized just how big of a culture shock Soldier must have been experiencing. Living up in the mountains with no electricity, and a place where the night sky was as it always had been, where humans were just one more organism in nature's garden. It makes sense that those conditions would create a boy like him. The idea of children growing up so pure was an appealing one, but maybe it was natural to forgo civilization when your population was so small. Or perhaps it was so simple a world that excessive knowledge was deemed irrelevant. Okay. It was precisely because city life offered him so much that was impossible till now that he had come to the conclusion that anything was possible here.
安心しろ。確かにこっちにはタチの悪い奴らばっかりだけどな。そんな魔法使いみたいな奴はいねえよ。
そうだといいんだけど。
But Soldier seemed unsure. And when Tobimaru responded, there were things in Soldier's story that he found hard to swallow. Whether true or not, the incident Soldier had described was disturbing.
まあ、事の真偽というか、どんな間違いでそう見えたかは置いておいて
Is the ghost Alice?
結果だけ見れば、うちの生徒が夜の公園で人を殺したってことになる。しかも双方控えめに表現しても普通じゃねえ。
As a newcomer to town, Soldiers assumed that everyone his age was a student at the school. For better or worse, he was right.
一人は火炎放射器を持って、もう一人は、まあなんだ、なぎなたでも持ち出したのか、刃物らしきものが何メートルも伸びたときた。
Soldier bowed his head up and down as he listened to the disbelief in Tobimaru's voice. Hearing it repeated by someone else, he could see how someone might think he was taking them for a ride.
正気を疑うな。尋常じゃないぞその話。
宗十郎、お前、実は俺をからかってんだろ。
いや、全く。けどまあ、都会にはそんな人間はいないんだろ。なら飛び丸の言う通り、夢でも見てたんだ。ここのところアルバイトと試験が重なって辛くて。
Winter break was just around the corner, and the end of the term exams were but a week away. Both were proving formidable opponents for
俺は
Sojiro.
基本ができてないから、人の倍程度の勉強じゃ追いつけない。ほら、勉強ばかりしているとノイローゼをするんだろ。
そりゃするんじゃなくてなるものだが、まあ、何にせよ、やりすぎ飲みすぎはよくねえわな。
減らしてはいるんだけどね。年末ってアルバイトを休む人も多くて、その代行も頼まれがちだし。
He shrugged. He shrugged helplessly. It was obvious from his words that he had been busy. Even if he was not going crazy, lack of sleep could have caused him to daydream. Even if it was... I really need a better way to read. This is not it. Even if this all did go down in the middle of the night.
なんだか大変そうだな、宗十郎。
ああ、実はかなり参ってる。都会の暮らしは深刻だ。
Soldier nodded with a pained look on his face. what was strange, however, was that he did not look at least a bit tired.
泣き言言わねえのは感心するけどな。お前、新郎は顔に出ないたちか？
そりゃ新郎はどこも痛まないからね。
As he answered, Soldier looked up at the clock on the wall. Lunchtime was almost over.
時間だ。
ああ、もうそんなに経ったか。気にせず先に行ってていいぜ。俺はまだ用があるからよ。
Soldier watched as Tobimaru made a gesture that seemed to lament the life of a student council member. His eyes looked as if they were looking to a piece of art and not understanding its value.
授業をサボれる身分っていうのは羨ましいな。そういうの、飛び丸が嫌いな手抜きじゃないのか？
そりゃ誤解も甚だしい。俺の欠席は手抜きじゃねえ。特権ってやつだと言ったろ。
I always fucking hated them. Yeah, the teacher called me to bring this paper over, and that will take me like most of the class. Actually, 2 classes I will not be attending because, oh, well, I have to help the teacher with something. It's like, oh, go fuck yourself. The vice president angrily defended himself as he stood up. The transfer student merely gazed at him and faced.
おいおい、あれだけ説明したのに全然分かってなかったのか？しょうがねえ。まず座れ。いいか、その字。常人を上回る英気と幸運を兼ね備えながら、座することなく精進してきた俺でも、ここを卒業しちまえば、裸一貫になっちまうんだぞ。ひでえ話だ。てめえの家柄を活用できんのは、あと1年ちょいだけなんだぜ。これの一体どこが羨ましいってんだ。普通一生続くはずの親の七光ってやつが、俺の場合はたった3年間しかねえんだからな。となりゃ、有効なうちに使っておかなきゃ、もったいなくておちおち眠ってもいられねえ。ああ、嫌だ嫌だ。何が嫌かって、バカどもとガン首並べて金勘定するのが嫌だ。たく、嫉妬渦巻く大人の世界じゃ、俺のオブラートみたいな心なんてパックリ飲まれて溶けちまうこと受け合いだろうさ。
Okay, I do like this character. While he must have been joking, Soji took his tone to be completely sincere. He listened as he envied Tobimaru's ability to be so open about his feelings. From his frame of reference, there was nothing he could do but take Tobimaru for his word. When
そんな権利なんて留年すればいくらでも引き延ばせるのに。なんなら協力してあげましょうか。この
the door to the student council room flew open, washing away Soji's half-hearted response to his friend. This frosty statement destroyed the warm atmosphere of the room. It also marked the abrupt end to Tobimaru Tsuchi's reign there.
いや、いい。自分の夢は自分の力だけで叶えようと常々思ってるんだ。
そう。なら今みたいな恥ずかしいこと力説しないでね。廊下にまで聞こえてたわよ、副会長さん。
Not missing a beat, Azuki stepped inside the room. Her dark hair was slightly disheveled as she had been running. Her gaze missed the sitting soldier entirely and was focused completely on the ranting vice president.
頑張れ、飛び丸。
Also, I'm seeing some dips at the bit rate, so I'm gonna finish this chapter and then stop. I don't know when that will be, but yeah, I feel like, yeah, to not lose my voice, I'll just read a chapter a day and see how that goes.
割と薄情なんだな、お前って。
Tobimaru grumbled in front of Alko.
だって時間がない。
だから、そういうのが薄情とだな。
He cut himself off. Alko briefly shifted her gaze to Sojiro.
時間がないのは
She's
私
just
も同じよ。
standing there
あなたにはい
menacingly.
つも振り回される。
Not a complaint was her honest
な
opinion.
んだ 要件は総十郎かよ。
安心なさい。あなたにもあるから。
Her eyes shimmered with the murderous glee. It was slightly different from the more sullen gaze to which Tobimaru had grown accustomed to. For whatever reason, Aoko's mood seemed worse than usual.
しずきくん、あなた、走るのと泳ぐの、どっち？
Aoko asked abruptly. Sojourn frowned a little before saying he was fine with either
ダメ
one.
よ。一つにして。
泳ぐ方かな。けどどうして？
あなたがまだどこの部にも所属してないから。
A succinct reply. One that left no room for Soldier to object.
うちの校則読んだわよね。生徒はただ一人の例外もなく、部活動に参加しなくてはならない。正直どうかと思う校則だけど、決まりは決まりだから。
そんな無茶な。悪いけどそこまでの暇はないんだ。
でしょうね。
An equally terse response. She was typically to the point, but Tobimaru got the impression that she was expressly trying to keep her interaction with Soldier short. They stared at each other in silence. Tobimaru stood breathlessly silent on the sideline until Soldier broke the impasse.
青崎は分かってると思ってた。あ、いや違う。きっと分かっているんだな。うん。だから、そこが強いんだろうね。
Soldier stood up from his seat. He walked past Aoko into the hallway.
明日からでいいんだろ？
しずきくんがいいならね。
He did his best to force a smile before leaving the student council room. While watching the events play out, Tobimaru found himself deeply impressed with Sojiro. He could tell from Aoko's behavior that she was trying to get the rise out of Sojiro. Sojiro, on the other hand, was none the wiser on what Aoko was doing, so he simply went about his way. To Tobimaru, it was hard to believe that Sojiro had not taken offense. All he observed was the performance of a lifetime in Sojiro's as he maintained a poker face.
いや、でも何が強いんだろうな、会長。
He looked at Aoko curiously. The relationship between Sojiro and Aoko is actually the best. Spoilers for Tsukihime. I read the very start of Tsukihime. So I know Aoko appears and she has red hair for some fucking reason. But she's traveling around the world, it seems, with a suitcase. So I'm just like, okay, so what the fuck happened to everyone else in this story? And I'm really curious.
青崎？おい、会長。青崎。青子女子。おい、聞いてんのかよ、青崎青子。
さいはね、青を呼ぶな。
Her fury echoed across the student council room. It was a beautiful sound that could be heard in the hallway and made Tobimaru rant from earlier pale in comparison.
やかましい。うるせえのはてめえも同じだ。
Perhaps her shouting was still ringing in his ears, or he was just the type to answer with a shout, but he shot back reflexively.
そんなんだから男の一人もできねえんだよ、お前は。ほら、目覚めたか？
別にあなたの声は聞こえてた。煩わしかったから無視してただけよ。黙らせるの面倒だし。
What a queen.
てめえな、俺はカカなんかか、おい。
コミュニケーションが成立しない点で言えば、あっちのがまだ上品よね。
ほう、その心は？
お互い何を言ってるかわからない。意味のない会話なら、仰せみたいなものでしょ。
Based on their statement, Aoko must have been under the assumption that dating is the act of two lovers whispering nonsense to each other.
問題はお前にとって意味のある会話ってのがどの程度の価値かってことだが、まあいいか。いつになくきついじゃねえか、青崎。
ちょっとね、今愛嬌を振りまける状況じゃないのよ。
不思議だ。この2年間で青崎の愛嬌なんてものは見たことがないんだが。
飛び丸のいない時に振りまいてたの。
そうかよ。やっぱりあの時のこと恨んでるんだろ、生徒会長さんはよ。
There was only one thing that Umaru could be talking about. The incident that occurred in the student council room this past summer.
ずいぶんと昔の話じゃないそれ。そんなどうでもいいことに容量を使っちゃもったいないわよ。
As the conversation wore on, Aoko's murder story began to fade and her sharp gaze gave way to a calmer demeanor rarely seen from her. It was quite possible that nobody besides the Vermont had ever seen the side of her at school before.
ご忠告どうも。俺だってあんなことは忘れてよ。ただ、さっきその字がバカなこと言いやがるから、つい思い出しちまったんだよ。くそ、考えてみりゃ場所まで一緒じゃねえか。
Despite his ranting, his face betrayed a touch of nostalgia. Aoko, on the other hand, was cowling.
ちょっと待って。あの話、彼にしたの？
おう、俺がてめえに、なんで会長になんか立候補したのよ。あんたは副会長って顔でしょ、どう見ても。なんて挑発されて、生涯最高の月をしたところまでな。
Okay. Uncle let out a sigh as if relieved that Tobimura had not told Sojiro the rest of the story. Even she wasn't sure
あれは
why.
確かにびっくりするぐらいいい月だった。思わず体が反応しちゃったものね。ところで、私そんなこと言ったっけ？
言った。しかも俺が保健室に運ばれたのをこれ幸いと強引に副会長にしやがった。
Okay, so I just found out about Chapter 1 having like a 1.5 thing. Well, I'm gonna have to do that after this. On the day, Tobimura had served as the vice president to the person who usurped the role from him.
いいけどな。俺に会長職は合わねえって分かったし、副会長の方が性に合ってやがる。会長なんてやってたら、危うく親父みたいな野郎になってただろうしよ。
プライド高い分、できることは全部やるからね、飛び丸は。会長職に先進するあまり、気がついたら優等生になってたあんたも見たかったけど。
やめてくれ、ゾッとしねえ。猫かぶるのはお前だけで十分だ。
Tobimura shooed Aoko away like an annoying pest. I wanted to see if I'm on pace with like long plays of like the visual novels on YouTube and me reading it out loud. And it seems like I'm doing fine. Yeah. Okay, good. I don't know if I want to continue this to this chapter or not, because I missed chapter 1.5. It was a typical example of the crude verbal abuse they exchange on the daily basis, with the witness that only two long-time foes could manage.
で、なんでそんな話したのよ。
は？
半年前のここの事件をなんで彼に話したのよ。
ああ、そっちか。いや、あいつがバカなこと口走ったからなんだが。
He stopped himself before saying any more. He knew better than to let it slip the fact that Soldier had a thing for Aoko. Everyone knew guys didn't sell each other around like that, even if it was all in truth a misunderstanding.
それより、さっきのはないんじゃねえのか、青崎。お前、宗十郎に恨みでもあんの
？7日以上前の恨みを引きずるほど私はお姫様じゃないつもりだけど。
He wanted to retort that she was more of like a queen than a princess. But he'd come to know her too well over the past 2 years to dig himself into a hole like that.
恨みはないね。それにしちゃ、恋に喧嘩売ってただろ。なんでだ？確かに調子の狂うやつだが、あいつほどいいやつはいねえだろうに。おい待て。なんだその足元のシロアリを見るかのような態度は。
別にあんたまでそのセリフを言うのかって心底から見避け果てただけよ。まあいっか。いいやつ、いい人、結構じゃない？喧嘩を売る相手としちゃ上等だわ。誰も憎んであげないなら私ぐらいそうしないとね。
She said casually, having regained her composure.
しないとねって、お前。
Tobirama could not follow her reasoning at all. Tobirama was used to Alco's erratic trait of thought, but hating Soldier for no reason seemed needlessly cruel. His friend's naive and innocent face came to mind, and then he blurted.
けど、宗十郎は青崎が好きなんだぜ。それでも嫌いなのか？
Okay, never mind. This character's a fucking bitch. Can't believe he just outed him like that. His vow of silence had lasted not even 2 minutes.
いや、今のはな、青崎。
He tried to take it back, but it was too late. She had heard his words, loud and clear. He could only hope for now that she would take it well.
そりゃそうでしょ。好き嫌いは誰にもあるし。けどこればかりはね、彼が私と仲良くしたいって言っても、私は嫌いなんだから仕方ない。
Stone cold Alco. Tomer found himself filled with the indignation at how detached Alco was being.
いや、そんなお友達感覚の話じゃなくてだな。そういう好き嫌いじゃなくて、その字は本気でお前に惚れてるって言ったんだよ。
He shadowed his face the embodiment of sincerity. Alco gave him a blank stare. It was the face of someone who had lost their wallet hours earlier and only was just now realizing it. The first instant of doubt that ushers in the reality of the situation. But an instant is all it was.
Ne?
She answered coolly, as if she had no idea why it would matter to her at
出
all.
ときたか。鬼でもなけりゃ悪魔だな。お前って女は。よかろう。聞こえなかったのならもう一度言ってやる。
Toberman gave up on any pretense of masculine solidarity and fired back hard.
いいわよそんなの。つまらないもの。
Ruthlessly cut him off. Thinking about the boys who still harbored and required love for Alco, Toberman tried hard to come up with a name befitting the demon as in front of him.
なるほどね。 それでさっきの話に結びつくわけだ。へえ。柄にもなく友達思いじゃない？
Every sprite in this game is perfect.
ってことは、聞くも無残、語るも無情っていう私の噂話、教えてあげたんでしょ？
I wanna know, is there a way to remove this? Let me save. No. No! Ah! Go back! Wait, how do I stop this? Help! Help! No, wait, wait.
それよりさっきのはないんじゃねえのか、青崎。
There we go.
出ときたか。
いいわよ。
There we go.
なるほどね。へえ、ってことは、聞くも無残、語るも無情っていう私の噂話、教えてあげたんでしょ？
She laughed as a feed smile turned her face. Superman repented to God, whoever and whatever he or she might be.
飛び丸にしちゃ正
Okay,
しい
so I
判
have
断ね。
autoplay on. Wait.
褒めてあげるから、どんな話をしたのか聞きたいな、私。
She was smiling, but Superman wished she deadly tried to hide the bloodlust.
凶作とここでの事件を2つばかり。
Aqua nodded with satisfaction as she listened to Superman's hesitant answer.
こういう時、噂話って便利よね。うるさいのを追っ払ってくれるから。でも、そんな話を考えなしで広めたら大変だから、これからは気をつけてね。
Had this been in writing, the chilling, sweet tone of her words could have been signed with a heart. Whether angry or happy, Aozaki spoke in this delicate manner when she was in a heightened emotional state. Superman took a note of this new discovery, aware that it did nothing to get him out of the situation.
ああ、俺も命は惜しいからな。口はもう滑らねえよ。けどよ、青崎。本気で宗十郎が嫌いなのか？
He knew that was a topic he would be better off avoiding, but he tried asking anyway. The bonds between men at times shine more beautifully than a pearl.
まあ、好きじゃないから嫌いっていうわけじゃないけど、私が彼のことを嫌う理由は自分でもわからない。だからダメなのね、きっと。
Perhaps to placate Tombimaru, Alco paused in contemplation before she answered. Give it a moment without immediately blurting a response meant that not even he could complain.
そうか。まあ、そういうことならしょうがねえか。何しろ、綺麗さっぱり感情論だ。お互い理由もなく好きと嫌いじゃ、手を貸す隙間もねえわけだし。
Thinking that would be the end of it, Tomura looked up towards the ceiling and silently apologized to Sojiro. However, his final sentence appeared to have piqued Alka's interest.
待って。今、どういう意味？
Her false cheer had vanished. Failing to pick up on this, Superman answered nonchalantly.
いや、あいつもさ、青崎に惚れた理由がわからないなんて言いやがってよ。ああ、違ったか。理由なんてないなんて意味だったかな。
Superman was still in disbelief that Sojiro had been charmed by Alka's appearance, so he purposely left out that part.
理由はない。ですって。
ああ、なんで。俺がいくらお前の噂話をしても無駄だった。天津さえなんて言ってたかな。あ、そうそう。理由はどうあれ、青崎の心配は本物なんだとか、自分はそれで助かってるとか、俺なんかには言えないセリフだったのは確かだね。どうにも。はっきりしてんのは、他の野郎どもと違って、噂を聞いても手を引く素振りなんざみじんもなかったってことだけ。
Superman finally noticed the shift in Alka's demeanor. She was scowling at the wall. She glared at it in silence like it was her worst enemy, and this continued for several minutes.
何それ。さっきといいそれといい、どこかで聞いたようなことばっかり。
Twitter, please bring back animated fucking icons and let me have this as mine. I'll pay money for this. Oh wait, no. So great was her ire that the gnashing of her teeth was audible. The irritation seethed until it reached the point that Alka forgot Tobimaro was even in the room. Tobimaro looked heavenward for forgiveness, sensing that he'd brought further calamity upon Sojo's head.
少しわかったわ。なんであいつが気に食わないのか。
Tobimaro looked away as if to indicate that he'd rather not know, but Alka ignored him and began to grumble venomously.
あいつ、私が嫌いなやつと言動が似てるのよ。誰彼構わずいい人扱いされるところとか、妙にふわふわしてるところとか、いちいち私の勘に触るところとか。
Glancing at Data up at the clock, Tobimaro thought it was the last part just sounded like a misplaced anger. And that was that. 1 o'clock had come and gone.
わかった。もういい。この話をした俺が悪かった。で、俺に用ってのはなんだよ。言っとくけど、もう授業始まってるぜ。
え？授業って、なんで？いつ？
いや、さっきその字が出てってから、青崎がギラーンって壁に睨んでた時にチャイムが鳴ったんだよ。いいのか、生徒会長。5次元目ばっくれて。
いいわけないでしょ。なんで黙ってんのよ、あんたは。
She looked like she was on the verge of tears as she shouted and pulled at his necktie. Tobimaro raised his hand in a mock surrender gesture, reserved only for the true victor.
方がエレガントなんて言いやがった仕返しだ。思い知るがいい。男の純情を踏みにじったり焼き殺したりするエリート悪魔。
相変わらず細かく根に持つ男。言動には言動で返しなさいよね、卑怯者。
She tightened his necktie around his neck with a yank. The vice president smiled with a thuggish grin as if her reaction made his victory that much sweeter.
お前の古典が破滅に向かっているのは周知の事実。そして A 組の5次元目は言うまでもない。藤代のばあさん。青崎のこと嫌ってるしな。
Fujishira had one of the longest tenures at the school, so it was only natural she would be in charge of teaching the classics.
さあ、こんなところで俺のネクタイを引っ張る余裕があるのなら、急いで自分の教室に立ち返るがいい。情けだ。別に止めはしねえよ。
くそ、あんたなんかにはめられるなんて。このまま死んでしまえ。
She choked him even harder with his necktie. As Alka put her words into action, Mercy strangled to Murray. He saw his life flash before his eyes.
いや、待て待て。本当に死んじまうだろうが。今ならまだ間に合う。10分過ぎたら遅刻から欠席扱いだぞ。
She kills some of them, turns back time. Alka glanced up at the clock. It was still only 7 past 1. Her route from the student council room on the second floor to a Class A classroom on the third floor. If she could run, she could make it. Thank you for telling me the directions, okay? I'll let you live tomorrow, this time. Oh wait, she said that. Alka clicked her tongue disappointedly. What disturbed tomorrow was that it didn't sound like an empty threat.
あと放課後、ここにいて。頼みたいことがあるのは本当なんだから。
She was halfway out of the room before she even finished her sentence. Finally all alone, Tobimaro closed the open door, locked it, and slumped into a chair.
たく。ああしてる分には楽しいやつなんだけどよ。青崎は。
He leaned back in the creaky folding chair and let out a sigh. The weather outside was beautiful, but the sunlight waned early in the winter. Wait. Before long, daylight would fade and the unheated student council room would grow colder and colder. All of the good equipment, like the heater, had ended up in the main office, so he had no choice but to settle for a chilly afternoon.
こんな天気が続けばいいんだがね。天気予報じゃまた雲行き怪しいって話だが。
After his somewhat suggestive monologue, Tobimaru's mind drifted. He ideally wondered to himself whether Soju was an overcast day or a clear day sort of guy, but no answers came. Oh, there's some more. The school day over, Soju headed straight to his job. While the school had improved his jobs at the Chinese restaurant and the fish market in Misaki shopping district, there was other work he had not mentioned to them. It was not because he knew that they would complain at working too many hours, but rather because of the illicit nature of one job in particular. Today his workplace was a pachinko parlor in front of Yoshigori Station. Soju changed out of his school uniform and into a black fox tuxedo uniform, then began cleaning the storefront. Yoshigori was the jewel of Misaki City, a busy place with a vast assortment of commercial centers and shopping arcades. Where there were people en masses, there were products made en masse. A romantic mind described it as a place of joy. A realist would note that free enterprise. A cynic would point at all the garbage. Local authorities had attempted to beautify Yoshigori, but there was one basic tenet of society they could not overcome. This establishment was the embodiment of that rule. Business such as this attracted the dregs of society, as such the front of the parlor had to be cleaned several times a day. I like the gym called Fit Me. Soju stood outside in the winter cold, sweeping used up cigarette butts, picked up discarded flyers, and tossed the empty cans into the trash. Something about it must have reminded him of the mountain life, because he cheerfully finished the job with ease. After making sure the storefront was acceptably clean, he returned to the inside of the parlor where it was nice and warm. Blinding lights, deafening sounds, and the oppressive odor of tobacco assaulted him as he passed through the parlor on his way to the office.
店長、外回りの掃除終わりました。
はい、ご苦労様。それでいいかな。2階の40番台のお客さんの様子見てきてくれない？どうも懐に飲んでそうなんだよね。あのお姉さん。
His boss was a good-natured man who used to work a desk job. The reason he employed someone like Soju, even though he was clearly a student, was not because he admired him for working his way through school. It was because all of the other employees were scary and intimidating. He wanted at least one employee who was not.
トイレの掃除まだですけど。
いいのいいの。なんかね、カメラの死角にいるんでいまいち確証取れないの。そうちゃん、今のところ的中率 100% でしょ。様子見てきてくれないかな。
Hearing that, Soju put away his cleaning equipment and headed upstairs. It was typically a large-scale pachinko parlor with 2 floors. It prided itself on being a local establishment that was satisfied with taking the locals' money little by little without resorting to more exploitive means. Regardless of the parlor's intention, its customers were not so scrupulous. Among them were casual players, professional gamblers, and cheaters, looking to profit by exploiting whatever loopholes they could find. Of particular prevalence was a device developed in the mid-80s that could disrupt the machine's circuitry from the outside and make it much easier to get what was called a 777 jackpot. As much as the parlor wanted to deny these cheaters entry, it needed to present hard evidence of cheating or risk losing customers, particularly in the service industry. Innocent until proven guilty was not a rule taken lightly. As a result, they could only punish the customers they caught in the act. Such cheaters were known as Kotoshi, a slice of society which Sojiro knew nothing about. What he didn't know was that they were inconveniencing his employer and violating their rules. He went upstairs. The radio and game machine sounds on the second floor were quieter than the cacophony downstairs. I haven't read that word in a while. There were 100 game machines on the ground floor and over 80 in the second, while there were some empty seats here and there. It was a solid evening turnout. The machine mentioned by his boss was in the center aisle. Sojiro nonchalantly leaned back against the wall and watched the customer hit the jackpot over and over again. Why focus on the ass? Don't make that sound. The second he saw her, his gut told him that she was not cheating. He still was not sure what made someone a master swindler, but if it meant they were special, this one certainly fit that description. It's almost as if he could feel the luck emanating from her. As the customers looked on, she silently turned the handle again and again. As at Alice, she appeared older than Sojiro. She wore a green form-fitting one-piece dress. A pair of stockings covered her legs. Her slender legs were gracefully crossed, and her elegance suited a painting better than Casino. Her dark reddish hair was cut short and a bob, perfectly framing her stylish spectacles and crimson lips. To be told something was off about this picturesque beauty ringing the jackpot over and over again. 4 boxes with pachinko balls sat at her feet, and her winning streak showed no sign of abating. She looked bored as her slender pose and fingers lifted a long cigarette to her lips. Just as that thought crossed his mind, her gaze turned to the wall and Sojiro. Suddenly a chill ran down his spine. He reflexively covered his mouth to keep from shaking. Acting on pure instinct, Sojiro took off running. He headed straight downstairs, desperate not to be on the same floor as her. He would have to run out of the door, but his obligations to his job. He tried to keep his composure as he spoke, jamming his school uniform into a bag as he ran out of the parlor. Cloudy weather brought the shadow of the night over Yashiroge as he ran through the shopping arcade towards the station. He shot up the wind-long staircase like an arrow, quickly pulled his train pass from his wallet and passed through the ticket gate. The ticket gate was crowded with people standing around walking and talking. The station attendant by the automatic ticket machine had an unpleasant look on his face. There was now a familiar comforting hustle and bustle around him. Just another day in the city. Nothing like what he was since the nights before. I wonder if that's in 1.5 that I missed. He could finally breathe again. The momentary rush of relief brought him to an abrupt stop. He nervously turned around. There was no way that dangerous individual could be behind him. He couldn't think for a good reason as to why he fled so desperately. As far as he could remember, he hadn't seen that threat's face long enough to form an opinion about her. Sojiro gave himself a good slap on the cheek to pull himself together and quickly made his way down the platform. Unfortunately, the next train was 10 minutes away and panicking would do him no favors, so he quietly found an empty seat and sat down. He took another deep breath. He was surrounded by people waiting for the train just like he was, and no sign of anyone pursuing him. His head finally cleared up and he assured himself that he was overthinking things, though he was surprised at how heavy his shoulders felt. Sojiro sighed at his greater than expected fatigue. He certainly had struggled since coming down from the mountains, but in retrospect, it could have been worse. Physically, he was more than holding up just fine. He was much less confident in his mental state. The city and the mountains could not have been more different. He had been slow to recognize the difference and adapt. Acclimation was simple enough. Humans were nothing if not adaptable, even without any effort. One would learn to adjust over time. Recognizing the challenges he had been the hard part. Sojiro grumbled and complained he'd never uttered before. To be honest, he was still afraid to wander around town. There were so many things city people took for granted that Sojiro had yet to grasp. It was little wonder that never-ending chain of surprises would wear on him.
疲れてるのは体じゃないのか。だからあんな幻を見れ。
He muttered to himself, then shook his head. To which exists such was the way of all things. Tobirama had called it a hallucination, but Sojiro knew what he saw was real. The city was a magical kingdom compared to the mountains. If there were a real magician secretly living there, there should have been no surprise at all. The thought alone made his legs tremble. It took him a moment longer to realize that they were quivering out of fear. He had feared the unnatural ever since he had carried a wild bear on the mountains on the mountain path as a child.
いや、あれはこんなもんじゃなかったっけ。なりふり構わず泣き叫んだもんな。
Sojiro smiled a little as he recalled his traumatic childhood memory, and would have fainted at the sudden appearance of a growling beast that towered over 6 feet tall. The monster in the movie that Sojiro saw now 2 days ago was equivalent to a cuddly stuffed animal when compared to a wild mountain creature. He was reminded that he'd faced far worse before, and his ordeal now was something that he could endure.
そうだよな。今の問題は、ちらっと聞こえた最後のセリフか。
I love it when old traumas overpower new ones. It's like, yeah, I've dealt with worse. I can handle it. And then it's just like, wait, no, help. That was a mistake. That's right, the problem. Okay. At face value, the meaning was obvious, but the implication was simply too frightening to contemplate seriously. Perhaps he had misheard the words, or perhaps the speaker had misspoke.
都会のルール。誰かがきっと罰しに来る。か。
Even as he said it, the idea didn't feel quite real. It was hard to imagine that it applied to him. Sojiro breathed in and closed his eyes. His vision dimmed, putting the illuminated cityscape out of sight and out of mind. For now, he resolved to put last night's events behind him. When he opened his eyes, his breathing had
それで
calmed.
さ、青崎を殴りつけようとして、結局どうなったんだ？
The question suddenly popped into Sojiro's head. He decided to ask next time, and stood up from his chair. A long streak of light blazed by, announcing the arrival of the next train. Okay, so let me see the fucking archives. What did I miss? Is that the new thing? I thought this was chapter 2. That's why I didn't read it yesterday. Yeah, I thought this was chapter 1 and thought, chapter 2 is here. No, but no, that's 1.5 apparently. Okay, this is gonna be the next thing I'll read. I'm gonna try to finish Ultraman and then come back if I don't get a headache. But if I do come back, I don't know if I'll come back to this or I'll start Dragon Quest. I'm hoping to come back to this. I have the energy to do this. But yeah, for now, see ya.